So I'm writing an essay on cats. Cats in art history. I'm an art history major, and this final is due on Friday.
Huh? No procession. Uh, well, I don't know, but I know that there won't be any procession because of the situation. Please, let's settle down, please. Let's settle down, please. Please, may I request that we move forward? We are about to start. Those of you at the rear, please move forward. Move forward, please, so that we can start now. Those at the rear, move forward. Move forward. Occupy the seats in front here. very senior officers, both serving and retired, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to have those who have made AFID what it is, those who contributed in different ways to what we are experiencing today in AFID. It is therefore customary that we acknowledge their presence with us today. May I most respectfully recognize the presence of the following past commandants and deputy commandants who are with us, beginning with Vice Marshal C.N. Udiagulu, who is with us. We also have Air Vice Marshal Ishaya Buka, who is here with us. We also have somebody, I still remember, in 2005, who brushed me up on the YOC, that is Air Vice Marshal O.O. Olabisi, who is here. We also have with us Air Vice Marshal Cosmos Uzogu, who is also here with us. And of course, I wanted to wait until the right time, but I don't know whether I should just whisper it. We also have with us the chairman of this occasion, who is also with us, Vice Marshal P.O. Jemitola. You're welcome, sir. Shortly, the program will commence. Please bear with us, sir. The band, please. Air Force Institute of Technology, senior officers, both serving and retired, deans, directors, heads of departments, officers, airmen, airwomen, distinguished invited guests, graduating students, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It is my singular honor and privilege to, on behalf of the Commandant, staff and students, welcome you all to Ibrahim Alpha Auditorium. venue of the 2026 pre-convocation lecture of the Air Force Institute of Technology. I am Wing Commander Basi Ibiang Okon, the Master of Ceremony for today's occasion. The topic of today's lecture is the role of public-private partnerships in developing Nigeria's aerospace industry. It will be delivered by the chairman of BIEC Group of Companies, Dr. Bright Echefu. The topic of today's lecture has been carefully selected and designed to sharpen our understanding about the critical role of public-private partnerships in building Nigeria's aerospace industry due to the ability of the partnership to mobilize capital, technology, and managerial expertise that government alone cannot provide, while at the same time aligning development with national security and economic goals. Before I proceed, may I most respectfully tell you something I do love to say because it is something that is pleasant before moving forward. I was traveling from Kaduna to Abuja not long ago. Inside the Kaduna-Abuja train, a passenger in the business class had played a very interesting video clip of someone professionally flying a machine in the air and landing it successfully. His friends were saying, when will a Nigerian be able to do something like this? They found it difficult to believe that the man in that clip who handled that machine with so much dexterity, boldness, confidence, and experience was indeed a Nigerian. I was happy to tell them, feeling very proud, that the man behind the machine was not only a Nigerian, he is indeed a retired Air Vice Marshal, an engineer, a professor, the Vice Chancellor of Isaac Balami University of Aeronautics and Management, Lagos. I am very delighted to announce that the man in that video clip that amazed the people is here with us today. Please join me as I invite that great man, who is the chairman of this occasion, Vice Chancellor of Isaac Balami University of Aeronautics and Management, Air Vice Marshal, Engineer Professor Paul Jemitola, to please deliver his remarks. The chairman, sir.
The Deputy Commandant, Air Force Institute of Technology, former commandants and deputy commandants present here today, members of faculty and academia, parents, well-wishers, and students, I thank you for being here this afternoon for this pre-convocation lecture. It is my honor and privilege to welcome you to this lecture, which is organized as part of activities marking the second, third, and fourth combined convocation ceremony of the Air Force Institute of Technology. I welcome especially the guest lecturer, Dr. Bright Echefu, a young Nigerian who has distinguished himself in the technological space. The pre-convocation lecture provides a valuable intellectual platform for reflection, engagement, and knowledge sharing on issues that are critical to the future of aerospace development in Nigeria. I trust that the guest lecturer will do justice today. As I posited earlier, the pre-convocation lecture which precedes the convocation ceremony, which comes up tomorrow, serves as a critical component of the Institute's academic tradition. It provides an opportunity for scholars, professionals, policymakers, and students to interrogate contemporary issues in science and technology and to explore practical pathways for sustainable aerospace development. The theme for this year's convocation, Harnessing Science, Technology, and Innovation for Sustainable Aerospace Development in Nigeria, is both timely and strategic. It reflects on the technological orientation of the Institute and emphasizes our collective commitment to promoting scientific advancements, innovation, and research-driven solutions that will strengthen Nigeria's aerospace and defense capabilities for not just the armed forces of Nigeria, but for the Air Force in particular. This lecture is therefore designed not only to stimulate academic discourses, but also to inspire our undergraduate students, graduating students, and members of staff to embrace creativity, innovation, and problem solving as essential tools for national development. As the chairman, I am particularly delighted that this lecture will expose participants to fresh perspectives and innovative ideas that align with the Institute's vision of becoming a center of excellence in aerospace education, research, and technological advancement. I am confident that the insights to be shared by our distinguished guest lecturer will deepen our understanding of the role of science, technology, and innovation in driving sustainable aerospace development and positioning our nation competitively in the global aerospace industry. To our graduates, this lecture is a reminder that the knowledge and skills you have acquired must be applied responsibly and creatively in addressing national challenges. The future of Nigeria's aerospace sector depends largely on your capacity to innovate, adapt, and contribute meaningfully to technological progress. I therefore encourage all participants to listen attentively, engage actively, and take full advantage of the wealth of knowledge that will be shared here today. Let us approach this lecture with open minds and a shared commitment to advancing science, technology, and innovation for sustainable development of the aerospace sector. On this note, it is my great pleasure to formally declare this pre-convocation lecture open and welcome you all once again. Thank you.
May I request another round of applause for the chairman, please. With the kind permission of the chairman, I will now read the citation of the guest speaker and thereafter invite him to present the lecture. Dr. Bright Echefu is the chairman of EIB Group Limited, a multidisciplinary technology and infrastructure group operating at the intersection of security, communications intelligence, media innovation, healthcare broadcasting, and advanced unmanned systems. Through its subsidiaries, EIB Group continues to deliver transformative solutions that are shaping the future of strategic technology capability across Africa. Dr. Echefu has demonstrated an exceptional capacity for innovation from an early stage in his career. In 2003, while still a second-year medical student at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, he co-founded Lion FM Nsukka and Lion FM Enugu campus, Nigeria's first campus radio stations. More than 2 decades later, The stations remain operational and influential platforms within the Nigerian broadcasting ecosystem. Building on this foundation in media innovation, Dr. Echefu expanded his broadcast footprint through the establishment of Bright FM radio stations in Abuja, in Port Harcourt, and in Lagos, further strengthening regional access to quality information and entertainment broadcasting. He also pioneered the establishment of Africa's first 24-hour health television channel called African Health Television, which significantly expanded the frontiers of specialized health broadcasting on the continent and earned both local and international recognition. Continuing his tradition of industry leadership, Dr. Echefu founded TSTV, a multi-channel digital satellite television platform that launched with 52 television channels and introduced innovative subscription models to the Nigerian pay TV market. The platform is now known as Luft Pay TV. Within the security and surveillance technology sector, Dr. Echefu is the founder of EIB Stratalk Limited, a company currently responsible for providing 24-hour area surveillance of national pipeline infrastructure assets for the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC. The company operates a 24-hour UAV basis across Nigeria and maintains a fleet of more than 76 operational surveillance drones, making it one of the largest privately operated aerial security surveillance platforms in Africa. He is also the founder of Break US Limited, Nigeria's leading indigenous unmanned aerial vehicle manufacturing company. The company operates a 4-hectare drone production facility dedicated to the design and manufacture of fixed-wing UAV platforms and specialized defense-grade aerial systems supporting national security operations. Dr. Echefu further leads Gigafront Forensics Limited, the expansion and private sector leadership in strategic information innovation. His approach combines entrepreneurial vision with strong execution capacity, positioning him as one of the notable drivers of Nigeria's emerging security technology ecosystem. Dr. Echefu is widely recognized for his resilience, foresight, and disciplined leadership philosophy, guided by a strong commitment to service, faith, and family values. Humility remains a defining principle of his personal and professional life. Please join me as I welcome our guest lecturer, Dr. Pride Echefu, to present the pre-convocation lecture, the lectures.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great privilege to be standing here today, standing before some of the people I've admired and respected over the years. Prof, it's an honor to be with you here today. And another professor, thank you so much for this honor. The Chief of the Air Staff, the chairman of today's occasion, the Commandant of AFIT, the Deputy Commandant, past commandants of AFIT, distinguished faculty, esteemed graduates, proud parents, members of the armed forces, and honored guests. It's a profound privilege to address you on this momentous occasion. The convocation of the Air Force Institute of Technology represents a culmination of years of rigorous training, disciplined study, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. Today, we gather to celebrate academic success and to reflect a broader question. What role will you, as highly skilled technologists, play in shaping the technological future in Nigeria? In the 21st century, technology is no longer a supporting instrument of national progress. It is actually the very engine that propels development, security, and global competitiveness. Nations that have achieved sustained global relevance did so not merely through natural resources, but through deliberate investment in innovation ecosystem, indigenous manufacturing capacity, aerospace development, digital infrastructure, advanced research institutions. Now, for Nigeria, a country endowed with exceptional human capital and strategic potential, the imperative is clear. Technological capability must become a pillar of national strength and self-reliance. Across the world today, transformative technologies including artificial intelligence, autonomous systems, satellite engineering, advanced communication platforms, unmanned aerial systems, and digital financial infrastructure are defining how nations secure their borders, manage their economies, and protect critical infrastructure. Institutions like AFIT occupy a uniquely strategic position within this landscape because they sit at the intersection of defense capability, aerospace innovation, and applied engineering excellence. For the graduates, your training at AFIT equips you with the foundational skill to excel in these domains. The challenges lies in transforming knowledge that you've gotten from this institution into impactful, sustainable, and scalable solutions for Nigeria. The challenge before us is no longer whether Nigeria owns talent. The challenge is whether we can successfully translate knowledge into indigenous solutions, convert research into manufacturing capability, and transform technical ability into systems that strengthen national security, industrial productivity, economic competitiveness. The future will belong to nations that design what they deploy, what they manufacture, and what they support. An innovation that they can actually defend any day, anytime. So in this lecture, we will examine three critical dimensions shaping the trajectory of Nigerian technological industry: our achievements, our constraints, and our pathway forward. We will reflect on the evolution of technological capacity across sectors such as ICT, aerospace engineering, advanced manufacturing, strategic media infrastructure. We will also confront the structural barriers that continue to limit acceleration. Most importantly, we will outline actionable strategies, both for policymakers and graduates like yourselves, to harness opportunities, mitigate risk, and chart a course for a robust technological future. I want to welcome you guys to this lecture today, and I pray I'm able to do justice to the topic that has been given to me. First, let's look at the evolution of Nigerian technological industry. Before we can understand the present and the future, we have to look at the history. Before 1960, Nigeria demonstrated technological ingenuity, mostly in the area of agriculture, trade, and small-scale manufacturing. Of course, they were supported by the colonial masters. Then we had railways, ports, and telegraph networks. Then later on, as times improved, Nigerians began to design their own products. Like, for example, some farmers in the villages and local blacksmiths designed farming implements that improved yield, while early communication networks facilitated trade across regions. Now, these innovations at that time might be rudimentary, but they were critical at that time to prepare Nigeria for what is ahead. Now, between 1960s and 1970s, the textile industry was doing extremely very, very well. We had cement, we had steel, and a lot of manufacturing industries actually came up. Now, fast forward 1970s to 1990s, the oil boom. The discovery of oil in commercial quantities in Nigeria transformed Nigeria's economic landscape. Oil revenues rapidly, created a lot of rapid urbanization, industrial infrastructure development, and government spending. Now, during this particular oil boom, a lot of growth happened. Technology, telecommunications, media, education. At least some of the institutions like Abafemi Awolowo University, University of Lagos, Ahmadu Bello University began engineering and technology programs, laying the groundwork for future talents. Now, let's talk about the last 25 years. A lot of innovations, a lot of improvements have happened. In the area of ICT, we had some very great names you can actually mention that emerged. Andela is one of them. I'm sure all of us know about Andela, how they were supporting a lot of startup companies. And today, Andela is one of the biggest technology employer, at least in the whole of Africa. Then talk about FlutterWave, and then Paystack. I'm sure all of us are using some of these products created by these companies. Let's talk about aerospace and defense initiatives. Nigeria launched Nigerian NICECOMSAT IR in 2011. Then we also have some UAV companies that came up like BridgeOS. And we also have some other big players in the armored vehicle industry like Proforce and also Poctober. Also in the media space, a couple of companies came up. We now have broadband services across the country. We have satellite and cable television also available now. You can watch anything you want to watch from any part of the world. And people can now stream with ease from their phones. Now, let's talk about the achievements in Nigerian technological industry. I talked about FlutterWave earlier on. FlutterWave currently has been estimated to be worth $1 billion. And that is because some guys came together to create something very unique, all trained in Nigeria. Paystack in 2020 was acquired by Stripe for $200 million. Andela is currently worth more than $1 trillion at the moment. So between 2015 and 2026, I can boldly tell you that more than technology space in Nigeria currently, you can actually, for now, I can boldly say that more than 60 billion annual revenue from the technology industry. Take a look at OPay and MoneyPoint. Virtually everybody now has an OPay account because they simplified their entry model. At the moment, Nigeria has about 200 million mobile subscribers, the largest communication market in the whole of Africa. Recently, we rolled out 5G networks, which has enabled faster internet accessibility. We also have an advent of artificial intelligence across and emerging technologies as well. All of these are advancements in the area of technology. In the area of aerospace and defense achievement, Nigeria aerospace and defense technology landscape has gradually transitioned from import dependency towards indigenous capabilities in critical strategic areas. Defense manufacturing companies have also been doing extremely very, very well. DICON has been encouraging them. I will talk about BridgeOS a little bit. We are currently manufacturing some of the best drones you can think of. I was discussing with Prof earlier on that currently we have drones that have done up to 5,000 hours, and we still have a lot of our drones currently in use across Nigeria by the Army and, of course, the other security agencies. We also make bombs in our facility, thermobaric bombs, and as well as bombs that use proximity fuses and all of that. All of these things are done by Nigerians. Some of them are AFIT graduates. At the moment, I think we have about 15 graduates of AFIT working in BridgeOS at the moment. I remember telling the commandant that once this set of graduates are out, please, so much of talks about HIV. I'm sure you can remember that very well. Everybody was talking about condom use, how you need to be careful with your sexual activities and all of that. There was an AIDS epidemic at that time. And there was so much reliance on one company, Pfizer, to produce antiretroviral drugs at that time. A lot of countries like Nigeria relied on Pfizer, and they have to be on a waiting list sometimes for 2 years. So we had cases where people were dying of AIDS because they didn't get ARDs on time. One particular country saw an opportunity in that and saw it as a national emergency. That country is called Brazil. Brazil had the highest incidence of HIV/AIDS in far back 1990, 1987, down all the way to 1992. It was a serious emergency that in 1 year, they had lost more than 500,000 people to AIDS. What did Brazil do? Brazil reached out to Pfizer that our own case is peculiar. We needed quick intervention. We need a supply of a minimum of 1 million ARDs on a monthly basis. But Pfizer told them you have to wait for a little while. It's not yet time for your country. What did Brazil do? Brazil said, since you don't want to sell to us, the best thing we're going to do is to make a law in our country that overrides all international patent laws. And what did they do? They made a law that overrides current patent laws in 2 situations. When there is a national emergency and when there is a perceived abuse of economic powers, like what was happening with Pfizer. Brazil empowered pharmaceutical companies in their country to produce generic forms of life-saving drugs, like ARDs. And before you know what is happening, Brazil became the highest exporter of ARDs. I can bet it, ask any medical doctor. 99% of the ARDs we use in Nigeria and the whole of Africa comes from Brazil. And that is because they saw a national emergency and they took it head on. That is the kind of emergency we currently have in the area of technology, in the area of aerospace. We should see it that way. The same energy we commit to politics is the same energy we should put in things like this. I believe that can stir you up to understand that what I'm discussing right now is not about me or you, it's about a national emergency. And I feel we should address it in that form. Now, one of Nigeria's most promising achievements in the cross-sector technological integration is that a lot of companies are coming up with their own idea of UAV manufacturing. But unfortunately, they are not getting the necessary support they need from government. And they're not also getting the kind of patronage they need from government. These are some of the issues we're going to be talking about today and how we can actually harness the opportunities we have currently and see if we can make government become more accountable to technology development in the area of aerospace. Nigeria can compete globally when it comes to aerospace. Nigeria can integrate a lot of transformative technologies. We have the human capital that is vital, and innovation is actually very possible. But there are a few challenges that has made these things very, very impossible to achieve. One is power supply. I'm sorry to tell you, sir, that at the moment, EIB Group spends an average of 100 million naira every month on power. How many companies can afford that? And how do you expect graduates who have great ideas to work in that kind of environment where you have to spend so much money to get your own power? I was discussing something with a friend of mine this evening, just some hours ago. We were doing some calculations, and I want you to calculate with me. At the moment, petrol sells for 1,400 naira a liter. Am I right? About 1,400. And most vehicles, their tank capacity is about 75 liters. What it means is that for you to fill up a full tank, you need a minimum of 108,000 naira to fill up your tank. If you drive around Abuja or drive around Kaduna, within 2 days or 3 days, that full tank is gone. What it means is that you have to repeat the same cycle for another 10 times in a day, in a month. So what it means is that for you to drive your car in a month, you need to have 108,000 times 10. That means you spend an average of 1 million naira to drive your car and move around across Nigeria. That is not a very good way to grow as a nation. Look at the young minds we have here. They also dream to have their own cars. How many of them can afford 1 million naira every month to fuel their vehicles? These are just thoughts for all of you. Other nations are taking these things very, very serious. South Africa and Kenya have invested in stable energy infrastructure that support clusters and support communities. In Kenya, there's a company called Konza that have developed technology cities where technology-driven, just like Silicon Valley over there in the United States, they've actually created a 24/7 cycle of operation that supports innovation and people that have great ideas. It's high time Nigeria develops that. Another issue is the issue of funding and investment challenges. How many venture capital companies do we have in Nigeria? How many companies can Nigerian government fund? Government R&D funding is very, very low, with many research institutions operating in minimal budgets. I was privileged to have a conversation with somebody who is in TED Fund, and I was asking, why is TED Fund funding so much infrastructure in terms of buildings? I'm forgetting that those buildings will have to be manned with a lot of researchers. Why are our institutions not doing researches? Why are our students not doing researches? Why are we focusing on buildings only? And somebody mentioned to me that the only reason why they are doing buildings, that's the only thing they can visibly see that they are funding. So, because you want to see that this is an infrastructure funded by TED Fund, you now want to fund buildings that can only stay and not do anything other than beautifying an environment. Aerospace funding gap. Nigerian UAV programs rely heavily on private sector investment from entrepreneurs, including initiatives such as the one we are doing at the moment. We're not getting any participation or funding or support from government. Everything we are doing is purely 100% private sector driven. The only patronage we get is occasional times they order drones from us. Other than that, nobody is funding our researches. We are funding it 100% ourselves. Again, we don't have access to credit. The high interest rate or near impossible conditions that they provide makes it impossible for so many people to access credit. How many banks can fund these young minds? No matter how beautiful your ideas are, how many banks can invest in your ideas? There are no such banks. If you have an idea on how to develop a solution, can you walk into any bank and say, look, I have an idea, can you fund it? It's practically impossible. If the bank must fund you, what they will likely tell you to do is first, go and bring a land worth the value of what you want to collect from them. For Christ's sake, how many of our graduates can afford a piece of land as collateral at this time? These are some of the issues we are having in the area of technology. Now, issue of human capital and skills gap. Nigeria has a wealth of talented engineers and scientists. However, a skills mismatch exists in advanced technology sectors. Let's talk about STEM education. While universities produce thousands of graduates in science, technology, and engineering, and mathematics curricula, there is also another issue of deficit on hands-on practical training for these people. Many Nigerian experts are also beginning to emigrate out of Nigeria. At the moment, I like to give instances. There's a professor that taught me in university. I'm a medical doctor, by the way. One of the professors that taught me in school currently is teaching English in China and is earning 10 times whatever he was earning in Nigeria. And he has encouraged a lot of my lecturers to move out of Nigeria to China. I can tell you for sure, if his children, or if I'm offered such opportunity, sorry to say, if not that I've invested heavily in Nigeria, if I have an opportunity to earn 10 times what I'm earning in China teaching English language, I know I will take that opportunity. But that's just by the way. So, R&D. Nigerian R&D ecosystem is still growing, limiting innovation and industrial competitiveness. Most Nigerian universities and research institutions operate on constrained budgets. If you ask the commandant here how their budget is, you will be surprised that they're not even getting enough funding to fund some of the research programs of some of the students in the university here. Limiting access to laboratory equipment, testing facilities, and pilot production infrastructure. Now, another issue is the collaboration between academia and also the private sector. Collaboration between universities, research centers, and industrial firms is also very minimal. Many innovations remain in academic journals rather than being commercialized into products. A lot of researches has been done by students. How do we commercialize those researches into products that can actually add value to Nigeria? There's also the issue of security. At the moment now, you can barely travel from Abuja to Kaduna without security protection. There's a whole lot of issues relating to security. A lot of people cannot go back to their homes. I used to tell my colleagues that I've not gone to my village now in the past 9 years because I'm afraid I will be kidnapped. Opportunities and the way forward. Having examined Nigeria's technological achievements and challenges, we now turn to the pathway forward. Opportunities abound for policymakers, entrepreneurs, industry leaders, and most importantly, the graduating class of AFIT. With strategic focus, Nigeria can transform its technological landscape into a global, competitive, innovative, driven economy. One key area that we need to really invest in is education, like we've always done. Nigerian universities and technical colleges must modernize curricula to reflect global technological trends: AI, robotics, aerospace, defense technology, renewable energy, and IoT. Courses should combine theory with practical, project-based learning, ensuring graduates are industry-ready. A UAV engineering course should include design, assembly, programming, and field testing, not just aerodynamics theory, which is what is happening in some institutions at the moment. You just teach them the theoretical thing, and they never get the chance to practicalize it because the funding to do that is not available. Technical training and apprenticeship. Partnership between universities, AFIT, and industry stakeholders can foster apprenticeship programs where students gain hands-on experience in advanced manufacturing, satellite technology, and UAV operations. Bridge US is also doing a lot in that area. This last year, we had a lot of AFIT students that came to our facility to do their COS program and also IT program for a while. And a lot of them are also currently, I think we currently have an agreement in play for 45 AFIT students to come for their industrial training in EIB group. That is already signed and already in play. Mentorship and knowledge transfer. Experienced technologists and entrepreneurs should mentor graduates, transferring not only technical expertise, but also leadership, problem solving, and project management capabilities. Mentorship programs can include project-based competitions and real-time innovation challenges. Now, innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem. Nigerian entrepreneurial culture is a major asset. To unlock technological potential, innovation must be nurtured systematically. We must support our startup companies. We must support them with seed funding. We must support them with grants. We must give them low-interest loans for startups in critical sectors like UAV, AI, defense systems, IoT, renewable energy, biotech, and medical devices. I was privileged to be in a country where students from secondary school are taught how to make weapons. And they build this technology in them from childhood, from their secondary school age. I was taken to an incubation center where I saw young minds of 15 years, 17 years, 18 years, making bullets for their country. They do it just like we do our NYSC in Nigeria. That's basically what they do throughout that particular program. We need to set up deep tech innovation hubs, establish specialized hubs for defense, tech, aerospace, robotics, and AI, combining labs, co-working spaces, and prototyping facilities. A UAV hub could allow graduates to design, test, and deploy drones while learning advanced software integration and AI flight control. Let's talk about public-private partnerships. Partnership between government, universities, and private enterprises can fund long-term projects that work otherwise be too capital intensive for individual entrepreneurs. We need to look at power and energy solutions as well. Expand stable electricity access through renewable energy, mini-grids, and solar power systems, particularly for tech hubs, industrial estates, and research labs. Incentivize private companies to invest in green energy solutions which can power factories, laboratories, and IT centers reliably. Another thing that has happened that has actually helped us, if we can harness it properly, is the 5G connectivity and the 4G connectivity. Now we have broadband penetrations across Nigeria. That can actually be a very good push for some of our graduates today to look at opportunities in the digital connectivity space as it relates to aerospace technology. Policy and regulatory reform. We need to incentivize our local manufacturing companies. We need to provide tax reliefs, import duty exemptions for critical raw materials. Okay, let me paint a picture again. My company has invested a lot of money in the area of production of UAVs. Unfortunately, the tax law in Nigeria will rely on all the funds that pass through your bank account, and they classify them as revenue, not knowing whether they are loans or maybe funds you probably have gotten from somewhere to invest in your company. I was surprised last year, FIRS came to my facility to seal my company with the claim that I'm owing over ₦1 billion in tax just for 1 year. And I asked them a question: how did you come about this figure? Is it the money I'm spending in paying salaries they are looking at as revenue? Or is it the money I'm spending on research they are calling revenue? How many of those monies came from government? Or how many of those things came from private sector? That I get money from different sources to keep a business going does not mean they are revenue. It took us a lot of time going back and forth before my company was opened. But the truth is this: I'm still in court over this matter because I can't afford a ₦1 billion tax liability for a startup company that is just trying to get its feet. These are some of the issues we face in Nigeria. And employing people, usually try and encourage them by giving them tax reliefs. Instead of paying this amount, you can say, okay, fine, 70% of your tax obligations is waived because of the amount of investment you've put in the area of technology and also employment of people. But that doesn't happen in Nigeria at the moment. We need to establish technology transfer mechanism. We need to establish structured channels for moving research from laboratories to production, including funding support for pilot programs and startup incubation programs. Now, let's talk about the strategic industry focus for AFIT graduates. In the area of aerospace and defense, we are expecting our graduates to come up with UAV programs, satellite manufacturing programs, domestic defense technology programs that can actually help in making Nigeria a better place. We need to expand our investment in energy, renewable energy. So our graduates, I know a lot of you are engineering enthusiasts and all of that. I'm looking at you coming up with ideas that can actually add more value to this nation. The fintech environment is another space for you to actually grow in. A lot is happening in the area of financial technology. People are now using blockchain and AI to improve transparency, efficiency, and security. We now have a lot of e-commerce platforms coming up. We have a lot of logistic companies coming up. And we have different digital payment infrastructures already in place. Also in the area of media and content technology, you can also invest in digital broadcasting, satellite communications, and interactive media to strengthen national and regional influence. UAVs and drones can enhance media coverage, disaster reporting, and environmental monitoring. For our graduates, we can also look at opportunities in the area of agriculture and industrial tech. You can deploy precision agriculture, IoT sensors, and AI-driven logistics to increase yield and reduce waste and improve profitability. I will tell you one thing for sure. In my company, for example, I have a lot of young minds. I'm telling you because I'm a practical example of what I'm talking about. I'm a young person, and 99% of the people working in my company are below 40. Interestingly, I have over 1,200 staff working in the company. And all of them are young Nigerians. There's no foreigner working in any of my businesses. I'm very impressed with the kind of results I've gotten. I'm also saying this to encourage all of us that you can actually work in Nigeria and add value. A lot of values that we've added, for example, in the area of lawful intercept, in the area of communication intelligence, I can bet you for sure some of the applications that we currently use for lawful intercept in Nigeria is built or was built by Nigerian young minds, guys that are under 25. currently working in the company, and they are doing extremely very well. Now, the truth is that I've pointed them in a direction I wanted them to go. And sincerely, they are doing extremely very, very well. I can't be more proud as a Nigerian that when I come to the company and I see great minds doing great things. Looking ahead, Nigeria can aspire to be a world-class technological capability. One of the things I'm looking at is for us to design our own national drone. Currently, Turkey is exporting Bayraktar drones. And today, they have made or created a multi-billion-dollar industry. Nigeria is patronizing them when we have a lot of startup drone companies in Nigeria that can actually get part of that funding. At the moment, Nigeria has so far invested nothing less than $150 million to Turkish companies. If a percentage of that is given to Nigerian companies, don't you think we can? Recently, the Nigerian government signed some agreements with a Turkish company to produce or deliver drones to Nigeria 5 years' time. Not now, 5 years' time. And Nigeria has orbited, kind of. We've not gotten a replacement for Nigerian Sat-1 till today. We have in NABDA, Nigerian the Space Agency, NASDA, right? NASDA currently has more than 500 PhD holders, but they have not been able to build one single satellite. Interesting thing is that some of these people were sent to different countries to go and learn these things. And I can bet it, they have the ability to build these things. But today, they are just sitting down in offices. You go to some of the offices, they are selling Coke and Fanta in an office where a PhD holder is supposed to actually be doing great things. Nigeria now should have a satellite constellation. We have the ability to. Even if we cannot build big satellites, microsatellites, nanosatellites can actually do a lot. DSA launched a satellite sometime last 2 years. I was part of that project. And unfortunately, the satellite is underutilized by the Nigerian security agencies. I can bet you for sure that I'm not sure that satellite has done so much for this Nigerian government. These are some of the problems we have. You can't have something and not use it. These are some of the issues that I feel has affected our aerospace growth in Nigeria. Now, what's the role of AFIT graduates? Graduates of AFIT are the catalyst of this technological revolution. I'm speaking to you today. Your contributions will determine how Nigeria harnesses the opportunities that we've mentioned earlier on. I want to advise you to embrace applied learning. Engage in hands-on projects in UAVs, AI, industrial automation, satellite design, and IoT development. I also want you to innovate for local problems. See some of the problems Nigeria is facing and see how you can create solutions for them. Develop solutions tailored to Nigerian unique challenges from agriculture to defense and renewable energy. Let's also lead and collaborate. Work across disciplines, integrating software, mechanical, aerospace, and communication engineering to maximize impact. In conclusion, distinguished audience, faculty, proud parents, esteemed guests, and most importantly, graduates of AFIT, we arrive at the culmination of this lecture. We have examined the evolution of Nigerian technological industry, celebrated its achievements, and confronted its challenges and explored pathways towards a stronger technological future. Today, more than ever, Nigeria's progress depends on professionals like you. This is a call to action. Graduates, the future of Nigerian technological industry is not abstract. It is in your hands. Your training at AFIT has equipped you with technical expertise, discipline, and strategic thinking, which is also a requirement for you to lead innovation, drive industrial growth, and ensure national security. I want to challenge you all to be pioneers. Create solutions where none exist, from UAVs to AI-driven industrial systems. Be integrators. Apply knowledge across sectors, merging defense, agriculture, manufacturing, and media technology. We also want to encourage you to be leaders, mentor younger generations, advocate for reforms, guide policy, and industrial strategy. Be ethical innovators. Ensure your work strengthens society, protects the environment, and advances national security. Remember, your achievements will not only determine your personal success, they will define Nigeria's position in the global technological space. Now, my final words. Distinguished graduates, as you begin your professional journey, carry forward the spirit of innovation, the discipline of excellence, and the courage to solve Nigeria's most pressing technological challenges. The path ahead would require resilience, creativity, and strategic thinking. But the rewards, both for you and for Nigeria, are monumental. You are the custodians of our nation's technological future, and your contribution will decide whether Nigeria merely observes global technological trends or we set them ourselves. Go forward with confidence, vision, and determination, knowing that your skills, creativity, and commitment can transform Nigeria into a leading technological nation. My closing quote is this: technology is the canvas upon which nations point their future. Let your hands, mind, and heart shape a Nigeria that innovates, inspires, and leads. Thank you all.
May I request another round of applause for our guest lecturer. May I also recognize the presence of the AFID Governing Council members who came in the course of the lecture. You're welcome, sir. Next on our program is the presentation of souvenir to the guest lecturer and chairman of this occasion. May I most respectfully invite Vice Marshal O.O. Olabisi, retired, to help us with the first presentation, please. The first to receive the presentation is our guest lecturer, Dr. Bright H.F. Thank you very much, sir. The lecture was indeed enlightening, sir. May I again respectfully invite Vice Marshal Ishaya Buka, retired, to help us with the next presentation. May I call on Vice Marshal Jamisola, professor and engineer, to please receive a token from AFID. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Your footprints are everywhere in our fields. We are happy to have you with us, sir. Before bringing this pre-convocation lecture to a close, it is customary for the graduating students to express appreciation to individuals and institutions that have contributed to their success. May I now invite Oluwasegun Babalola Jacobs David to give the vote of thanks on behalf of the students.
Good day, everyone. The chairman of the pre-convocation lecture, Air Vice Marshal P.O. Jemitola, retired. The chairman of the AFIS Governing Council, Air Marshal S.K. Aneke, the chief of air staff, the commandant AFIT, the commanders and commandants of co-located units, members of the high table, professors, deans, directors, heads of departments, our distinguished guests, parents, well-wishers, fellow graduates, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Oluwasegun Babalola Jacobs David, a graduate of physics, and it is both a pleasure and an honor for me to deliver this vote of thanks at this memorable pre-convocation lecture. First, I want to thank everyone for making time to attend and for staying till this point of the program. The lecture would not be as special without your presence, and we are truly grateful. We would like to sincerely appreciate the federal government of Nigeria for its continued support for this institution under the leadership of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We have seen increased focus on tertiary education development in the country, and for that, we are grateful. We also want to thank the military arm of the government for making this institute a home for many of us. Before coming to AFIT, many people had misconceptions. They had questions like, is it not a military institute? Will you become a soldier? Will you carry a gun? But being here, we have seen something different. We have experienced orderliness, security, and a system where students are truly valued and protected. We thank you very much. In fact, I once asked a student from another institution if their vice chancellor had ever come into their class to see what was going on. And he was surprised, but you know, here in AFIT, we see commandants coming to class to check what's going on. Because here there is no gap. There is no gap. He tries to bridge the gap to understand what's going on at the basic level in every class. And we thank you very much, sir. We thank you. Our Honorable Chief of Air Staff, we thank you very much. We appreciate the governing council of this institution led by you, sir. We are grateful because this school keeps improving every year. We have never gone backward, and we will never do so. Thank you very much, sir. I would like to appreciate especially the commandant, AVM, Air Vice Marshal Adeniro Kolade Ademagun, for this wonderful lecture that he has organized. Any good institution is a reflection of strong leadership, and we are truly grateful for your leadership, sir. We appreciate you, sir. Thank you very much. Looking back, all the commandants who have led this great institution, on behalf of all the graduates, we say thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sirs. In this institution, excellence is rewarded. That is a standard that has been consistently upheld. In fact, the best place to be a first-class student is the Air Force Institute of Technology. Because a first-class student in this institution is a first-class student everywhere. If you don't believe me, ask around. Ask around, you'll find out. We are very grateful, sir. We are very grateful. On behalf of the graduating students, I would like to say a big thank you to the guest lecturer who gave the pre-convocation lecture. I want to say a very big thank you. Your lecture was very inspiring and thought-provoking. And sincerely, we have to look at the development of our country as a national emergency. And we will do so, sir. AFIT graduates will not disappoint you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. To the great staff of this institution, we say thank you. From the departmental staff to the faculty staff and all non-academic staff, we appreciate the role you have played in shaping us and equipping us with what we need to compete in the world today. We will remember you for life. To all the deans and heads of departments, professors, we appreciate your guidance, your concern for students, and your commitment to maintaining high standards. To every director, director of sports, the director of Center for Innovation and Research, and all others, we appreciate your contributions. I remember going to Professor Alimi's office several times to tell him some of the ideas I had, even though some of them were not fundable then. But he took me in, he listened to me, and he advised me. That is the AFIT spirit. A spirit, that's the AFIT spirit. A spirit where ideas are truly cared for. A spirit where every staff shows genuine concern for your growth. We thank you very much. To every lecturer, every class you taught, every lesson you shared, it has all brought us to this moment, and we are grateful. My HOD has a saying, we rise by lifting others, and we saw that practically. Thank you very much. AFIT has not only built us academically, but has shaped our character, and for that we are truly grateful. One lecturer who emphasized this repeatedly in our class was our dear Dr. Abigail. She taught us sustainable development and continuously reminded us why it is important for us to care. Today we can clearly see the relevance of the sustainable development goals and the role of our generation in shaping the future. One phrase she always repeated was, we must have a behavioral change. We must have a behavioral change to make impact in our society. Thank you very much, ma. Today is very significant for us. It marks the end of one journey and the beginning of another. We are not afraid of what lies ahead. We are ready to pursue opportunities. We are confident about the future. This journey has exposed us to new possibilities and emerging technologies, and we are eager to explore them. We live here empowered, boldly, to face the future, drive change, and shape better lives while safeguarding the hopes and opportunities of generations to come. Thank you very much. On behalf of all the graduating sets, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to everyone who made today a success. Thank you all, and I wish everyone a safe journey home. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that vote of thanks. To bring the proceedings to a close, may I respectfully invite the Deputy Commandant to deliver the closing remarks. The Deputy Commandant, sir.
The Chief of the Air Staff, the Chairman of Council, members of Council present here, the past commandants that are here with us, very senior officers present, deans, directors, head of departments, students, ex-students, everybody. If I have to borrow the word from the last speaker, he said, thank you very much. And I'm saying thank you very much. When you put an orator before the closing remark, you know you are buying job for the person that is going to do the closing remark. However, I'll just pick some few points from what our guest speaker said today. He mentioned that he has given 45 slots for internship. What he did not say was that those 45 slots are paid internship. I think he deserves a big round of applause. And what that means is that it's going to be very competitive. So it's not just everybody going there. You have to prove yourself before you are selected to go and have that experience. Thank you very much. Also, he said he has asked Commandant to select 10 graduating students for automatic employment. I think he deserves another round of applause. Before now, the Commandant has made effort to reestablish the Bade Center. The idea of this center is to enable our students exercise themselves in the area of unmanned vehicle development, cyber security, electronic system development. And one of the things he talked about was where our students will develop a UAV and give to Dr. Bright to market for us. I think that's another area of collaboration that we'll be going into, and I'm sure he will do that for us. So he deserved another round of applause. The air vehicle industry in Nigeria today, I think AFIT is the leading university when it comes to that. We've led in the last decades, and we continue to lead today. Whenever we go out to visit companies, top companies in Nigeria, they always tell us about AFIT students. In fact, some of them will tell you that they lost confidence in Nigeria educational system until they came across AFIT students. So I want to encourage $1 for one software, and he's confident that he's going to get it. I want $1 for one software, and he's confident that he's going to get it. I wonder how he's going to do it. But since he has said it, I know he's going to do it. But the idea is bringing the software is not the end. The students have to use it to achieve the goal. So I want to thank everybody here. The past commandants that laid the foundation. I remember when Oga Odaglu used to summon us to his office and tax us from morning till night. Today, AFIT is where it is because of the input for the past commander. I think the past commandants here deserve a big round of applause. To all the members of Governing Council, I want to say thank you very much, sir, for being part of this great occasion. You've entrusted us in AFIT with the mandate. Today, the Chief of Air Staff said that AFIT has set the discipline standard. They have set the academic standard. He has given us 3 more standards he wants us to set in the next 1 year. And by the grace of God, we will reach there. So I want to say thank you very much to the chairman of today, Air Vice Marshal P.O. Jemitola retired, a mentor, a godfather to a lot of us. And I will say the only general that will share it, 45th military graduation, 18th polytechnic graduation, and 5th university graduation, so that everybody will feel sense of belonging. So on behalf of the commandant, I want to wish all of us safe journey back and pray that God will keep us to see another graduation. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much, sir. I happen to sit close to a journalist, and as the deputy commandant was talking, she whispered, is he a professor? I said, yes, he's also a professor. Thank you very much, sir. The chairman, sir, commandant, distinguished guests, immediately after the pre-convocation lecture, which has just taken place, there will be a group photograph in front of the auditorium. May I request that we proceed for the group photograph to remind us of this pre-convocation lecture. Thereafter, all the students are expected to return back to the hall for further briefing on the convocation proper. With this, we have come to the end of this pre-convocation lecture. May we rise for the general salute. we may now proceed for the group photograph, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Please, there is also a cocktail for our distinguished guests at HQ Affit's car park, please. And graduates as well, you also taste it as well. Why go leave them outside? All of them, this